Welcome to this week's episode of Metropole Live. So this week I'm going to be looking at well-being, and what a perfect time. We had the hugely successful Wellbeing Day with students across the school this week. I really loved being able to see all the different activities. I saw children creating podcasts, showcasing new skills, creating obstacle courses. There was appreciation posters being made, mindfulness jars, positive thoughts, even board games being played with families. So really, really nice to see that feedback from the Wellbeing Day and really having that opportunity to have a day that was focused solely on the well-being of the students in our community. But well-being isn't just for one day. Everything we've done during online learning has really had this well-being entwined throughout it. And my special guest today is Miss Rubiena, who's going to come on and tell us more about the thought process behind how we support our communities, not just individual students or teachers or parents. It's about the whole community and how we're supporting positive well-being. So let's see if she's about. Hi, Rubiena.
Hi, Alex. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Thank you for joining us. It's really nice. Really wanted to just talk about some of the work and things you're doing over this online learning period throughout our community. There's lots of different people in it, but how do you think students are finding this online learning, and what support are you guys giving for them?
Well, I guess with regard to the students, I feel there is a lot of mixed approach, and I feel most of the students that we are coming in contact with, some of them are really liking this environment of, being in the online classes. But at the same time, we have some students who are really longing to come back to school because they're missing their friends and having, they're really longing for that social time with their friends, the contact per se things. And I feel which is quite natural when it even comes to adults like us. We're looking forward to sometimes meeting up like in person and then having that conversation. But then on the whole, I feel that we could pretty much say that it is a 50-50% approach of students wanting to come back and some students really loving their family time at home. They're getting that kind of quality time that they always thought that they wouldn't have had otherwise. So I feel they're taking it well.
It's very different for each individual child, isn't it? And
Yeah.
from your role in school, what kind of things how are you supporting students that feel like they need a bit more support with kind of well-being or issues or anything like that?
I think, with regard to the support that we are offering, I mean, I wouldn't say standalone as counselors, we are doing it independently. But then I say that, as a school system, that we're working very well collaboratively. And, when you're looking at the safeguarding team, when we're looking at the inclusion team, we're all like working together in it. But then, however, the kind of support that we're offering is specifically as counselors is more, students can reach out to us through emails, and, parents can reach out to us through emails if they have any specific queries about students. Because quite normally the students are of the nature that, should we really talk to Miss Rubiena or Mr. Joni about it? But then there are some parents who are, very smart to pick up and say, we're seeing our children struggle with these issues at home. So we've had that kind of support that has come along like really well. And we see ourselves kind of organizing meetings around those kind of spontaneous questions that come up. So yes, emails is one, and then the counseling support of the students that we are seeing on a regular basis, we've left it open to them. But then once again, the trend has been, I feel the trend is pretty positive because, the kind of students that initially when we started seeing the online thing, we saw almost all the students coming in for the sessions. But now pretty much with the kind of support we are offering in terms of giving the resources out and, talking to the parents through different mediums, we're seeing that children are pretty independent in their approach, So the counseling load, I feel, it's definitely a goal for the counselors to see the students becoming independent. So that is when we say we're closing cases successfully. So I feel that online learning it has made the process faster, and I'm seeing a lot more children taking control of their lives. And I wouldn't say that it's all because of what the counselors are doing, but I also feel a lot of parents have been very proactive in terms of providing support and taking on that feedback. And that is, I see the children becoming different. So,
I think
yeah.
it's having that option to be able to speak to you guys and interact with you guys has been really beneficial through this. But everyone I talk to through all the different elements of the school and the community, independence is something that's really come out of this online learning as a positive, which is really nice. I think we've also got the students, but another big part of our community is obviously the staff and the teachers. And this is a very different situation for these guys as well. Obviously, we've been locked in and we've had a long period of time, 10 weeks of our staff being in their accommodation and teaching from there. How have you found that, and what support have you guys kind of given in that sense?
Um, Pretty much. I think, when it comes to the support factor, we are not deprived of being an adult or a child or a staff or, any one of us, the big element that we're missing is the human element, the touch, the presence of people around, and I think that goes a little further in terms of how I feel for my staff, because some of them who are away from families and alone here, and I completely get that feeling because I'm one of them. And when you don't have that communication going so effectively to and fro with your family and loved ones, you do end up feeling overwhelmed. And but the best part is that our head of years and our leadership has been very proactive in picking up, because at the counselors level you don't really interact with the teachers like so regularly. But then the best part is that our leadership team has picked up and they have forwarded certain staff who's been having issues, and we've been able to make contact with them either through phone calls or through meetings online, or just by keeping in touch with them on WhatsApp and just checking if they're all right. And I think that has gone the extra mile, because the staff is identifying that there are people on board who are ready to help them. So I feel once again, we've had some emails that have come in wherein the staff is asked for a few things that they could be supported with. And we have been effective so far, fingers crossed, but then we have been effective. But I know that there are moments which you don't really realize when you're falling weak. But then the strength of our team at Metropole, I think, is great. It's enormous because we have seen each other, supporting. We're not here independently looking after ourselves, but we have, you know, gone an extra mile and watched out for somebody else's well-being as well. I think that helps us as the counseling team to offer better.
Yeah, and I think
So,
that's something I've always talked about. And when I spoke to a couple of new staff around induction, it was Metropole's a real family in that sense, and it's a very positive, happy place to work. And suddenly being placed in a situation where you're teaching from your own apartment when a lot of our staff are living on their own, it's that social interaction we have at work is taken away. So there's a lot been done, and obviously, like you were saying, the leadership team and you guys communicate a lot, and that's how we've got the wellbeing team set up for staff as well. And there's lots of things going on to keep that interaction between staff. And it's really working well in that sense. But one of the great things you guys have done is the podcast. Can you tell us a bit more about the podcast that's going out each week?
oh, I think yes, the podcasts have been received really well, and I did feel that initially our interactions with the parents and the things that we felt the pulse of the parents. Right now the need of the hour is for us to be grateful. So the first thing when I was looking at putting the podcast together, I think the feeling of gratitude needed to be magnified in everybody's lives. So when we're looking at a lot of things going wrong, how are we going to anchor ourselves? And I feel that that was an element everybody was missing, because they were seeing way too many disasters surrounding them. And I felt that, there is a need for us to count our blessings. So I thought, podcast would be the best thing to start off with. And when we're looking at the school community, I think a lot more has got to do with how we are planning to support our students. But then to support our students, I think the adults play a big role. And if they are not at peace and if they are not grounded, then we possibly will not have the quality in supporting the students. So I felt, podcast would be okay. The main target audience for my podcast is definitely the parents, but also the staff. So I feel that, we are looking at keeping them grounded, keeping them more in control of the, and that is when, when we're looking at, the trend in the social media, how, the Metropole, how many people are viewing this particular podcast, which was a delightful thing to watch, that, a lot of people, the trend has just increased over a period of time. And then, we do have certain parents leaving a comment or two, which does mean that they're taking it in. And we do have certain emails that come to us saying that, it was great to hear you and, talk about this topic. So we're covering a series of things on mindfulness. We're covering a series on parenting. We're covering a series on the relationships. In terms of relationships also, there has been a lot of diversification, that, it is not just about the parent child relationship, it's also the relationship between a couple. And, how as parents they need to strengthen their relationship in order to take their support forward for their children. So, we're looking at dynamic aspects, which is just going to give them something new each time to think about. So we're leaving them with a food for thought.
I
I
love it.
think that's working.
Yeah, it's great, and that food for thought's a great way of summing up, isn't it? It's a fantastic podcast. I really enjoy them, and they're easily accessible for everyone coming through the different social media platforms that they're put out on as well. And I think that benefits our community. But one thing you said there that's really important is all three of the kind of key people in our community: the students, the teachers, the parents. It's a balance between everyone happy. If the parents are happy, the staff are happy, the students are happy, and it goes round in that triangle the whole time. So it's great to have such a focus at Metropole on the community and the work you guys are doing. But thank you for coming on. I won't keep you too long. It's been really helpful. And yes, we look forward to the next episode on the podcast, and we'll share your email addresses as well on this live episode today. For anyone that's looking for some more contact, really.
Thank you so much. And I think, thank you for giving us the extra push that we needed. I'd only say that, thank you for having us over to give our opinions out.
No, thank you for coming on. Right, thank you very much.
Yes, take care.
Great catching up with Miss Rubiena there, the school counsellor. And if you want any further information about wellbeing and how we as a school can support you, or how you can further support yourself with your wellbeing during this online learning period, please check the school social media, the Instagram, the Facebook pages, to find those podcasts from the school counsellors and see how that can further help you, or how we can support you guys more. So that's enough from me today, but what I would like to do is leave you with some great images from the children from the Wellbeing Day of some of the activities that they made, created and did during that day. So for now, goodbye.